Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're outside today and we are hanging out in the front with our wild plums, which is what those were, and our lilacs and our blue spruces, because today we're going to talk about having color in every season. So using bushes and trees to give your space color all year long. So different things bloom at different times, and vodka's here. Why is he here? Don't know, but he's here. So different things bloom at different times, and those blooms really can enhance your garden. Okay, so you can put things anywhere you like, all right? But if you plant things that bloom in different seasons or look funky in different seasons, you can have interest all year long. And I've said that before. So today I'm going to go through some specific shrubs or trees that you might want to incorporate. Okay, because they can be used to bring great interest either as individuals, so maybe just one lone cedar, or as a group. So we're going to have a line of 5 blue spruces and 4 lilacs. Okay, that's the interest we're bringing over here, and we're going to plant a couple more things over there. And we have some fruit trees over here. So we're going to bring a lot of interest to the area, mostly with trees and shrubs, because up here it's actually pretty barren. Okay, until you get over there where there's some trees, but for the most part, this is a pretty barren area. So we definitely want to bring some interest to it. And there's cats helping. Always get the help of cats when gardening. They're excellent. So, trees and shrubs in different seasons. Okay, so if you want to display color for all seasons, you need to know what to look for. One of the best seasons for blooming is spring, of course. So you might want to get something like our forsythia. Forsythias are beautiful. They have kind of these yellow sunny blooms, and they're really, really, really pretty in the spring. Rhododendron, they are really fantastic. They're actually a rose tree, not real roses, but that's what it translates as. And it's actually really, really cool to have a couple of those. I'm not putting those in. I'm putting them in at my mom's, not my house. Lilacs, that's what these are. Lilacs bloom in spring. So we have a couple of different types of lilac here. We've got, it'll bloom like that, okay, when it eventually blooms in the spring. And we have white ones. So we're going to have 2 different colors going on. So they'll look fantastic in the spring. They look nice in other seasons, but really they bloom in the spring, so that's when they look awesome. In the spring, dogwood, and I'm going to mention dogwood all the time because it's actually really worth it. Because in the spring, dogwood has this bright foliage, and they start flowering in the spring a little bit. Not full flower until summer, but even just their foliage, their green foliage as it comes in, and the red bark as a background, because dogwood has red bark. Those bushes are really, really fancy, and you really should consider them. You also might want to plant fruit trees like crabapple, cherry, or wild plum like we have right here. Because let me tell you, their blooms are really pretty. So this guy, now these are wild plums, so they're not a real big tree. So, you know, wild plums down here and some up here. But this guy, he's got really pretty blooms in the spring. So definitely, definitely worth it. Pretty blooms in the spring and early summer, I should say, for fruit trees. So in the summer, you might want to try things that bloom a little bit later. Okay, so crappy myrtle, it really does bloom nicely. So you want to get that because they're real pink and real pretty, and some of them have a purple hue. Very, very pretty. So try that. Magnolia trees. If you can plant a magnolia tree in your area, you should do that. Okay, you absolutely should do that. So we're going to go around and look at some of the dogwood. But yes, if you can plant magnolias, their blooms are gorgeous and they're a great summer bloom. Excellent summer bloom. Hydrangeas, that's the other thing I was going to talk about. We're going to plant a couple of hydrangeas, one here and one there at the end of these rows, because they don't get super tall, and we do have a power line above. So we're going to plant a couple of hydrangeas. They're gorgeous in the summer. Not so much to look at in the spring, but once they kind of jazz up for the summer, they're really, really pretty. Come on, vodka. Just calling the puppy. Come on, buddy. go. So you also might want to consider a butterfly bush for the summertime because they do bloom in summer and they attract your pollinators, which is awesome because we like pollinators. Your bees and your butterflies, you definitely want to attract your little pollinators. And again, I'm going to mention dogwood because it'll start to flower in late spring and then it'll have these really pretty berries in the summertime. Okay, really, it's really a very pretty plant. So I'm just going to go over here where we have some dogwood. Come on, Vodka. He's slower than me because he has little legs. So again, yes, I'm mentioning dogwood. It is excellent, an excellent bush for interest in multiple seasons. So again, think about doing some dogwood. Okay, so we have dogwood over here. Hi, cats. Cats are excellent. There's also a goat. So we actually have a lot of interest here. So we have some berry bushes that are not edible. Can't eat every berry, by the way. So don't think you can. Sorry, we had a little incident. I dropped the camera. I edited that part out. So we're going to continue. Let's talk about fall then. So we already talked about dogwood being good in summer. Let's talk about the fall. Okay, so fall, you might want to do like a chase tree, which is really pretty purple in the fall. An autumn cherry, because it actually blooms in the autumn. So if you can get away with autumn cherry in your area, do, because it's really pretty in the fall. Fruit trees, because they develop their fruit in the late summer and early fall, they look really neat. It's really kind of fun. So I showed you our wild plums at the front. We've got more back here, but I ate most of them. So I ate most of them. I like wild plums. There's a cat in the bush. So if you have a bunch of fruit trees and they fruit in the fall, most of them fruit in the fall, then it'll actually be fantastic. I mean, you have all this fruit hanging off your trees. It's really pretty. So it'll look really good. So try that. And again, dogwood, because as summer comes to a close, so our dogwood's not turning yet, but it will. But it gets this bright red leaves. Very, very nice. Okay, nice and fantastic. So you notice there's no fruit on these right now because I ate it all. Also, these, because of where they are, they mature a little bit faster than the ones on the other side of the property. So, yes, ate most of the fruit off these ones already. But yes, these are wild plum as well. But I ate most of the fruit off them, and I'll be eating the fruit off the ones in the front shortly. So here comes Vodka. Good boy, Vodka. So, in the winter, here's where we have a conundrum. If you live in a warm area, you might be able to do an acacia bush, which are really pretty, an acacia tree. Hi, buddy. Hi. Look how cute you are. Cute, 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 cute. So, he's very happy. So, you might be able to do an acacia tree. They're really, really neat. You might be able to do camellia. They're really pretty. You might be able to do a Carolina jasmine. If you can, you should. There's cats up in that tree. Yeah, there's cats climbing higher and higher, and they're going to fall down and get hurt. So you might want to do a Carolina jasmine. I can't do any of that, okay? If you live where I live, you might want to consider some really cold hardy, but still beautiful things that you can plant. So witch hazel, which I am going to be planting because it's useful and pretty, is excellent for northern climes. It survives the winter well, and it has these kind of yellow and orange blooms, but it also looks really interesting in the winter still. You might want to do a holly bush, which I've got a couple of holly bushes on order. If you're going to do holly and you want them to have berries, then what you really, really want... Cat's up there. What you really want if you're doing holly is you want female bushes because they're the ones that have berries. Hi, cats. Yeah, there's cats up there. So yes, if you're doing holly trees, you want females because they're the ones that have berries. And again, I'm going to say dogwood because yes, it drops all its leaves and has no more berries, but then it has this bright red bark through the winter. At least a lot of varieties do. There you are. So you might want to consider, again, dogwood, especially if you're in northern climes, because other than evergreens, which you absolutely should do, your cedars, your pines, your spruce, you should absolutely do your evergreens because they're gorgeous. But outside of that, if you live in a northern climate where things don't stay green except for evergreens, it is a little more difficult to maintain interest in your yard using shrubs and bushes. So consider dogwood, consider witch hazel, and definitely use the heck out of your evergreens. Okay? We like cedars and spruces, but if you like pines, that works too. You notice we don't have, in our natural foliage here, we don't have a lot of evergreens, but that's okay. That's why we're putting the blue spruce in at the front, to bring some interest to our property in the depths of winter, because the depths of winter are really, really cold. It sucks. Everyone like our little raccoons? Yeah, look at our awesome raccoons. Also, lawn ornaments also bring interest. So, raccoons with a spider web and raccoons. Anyway, so that's just my tips on what kind of foliage you might want to look for putting in your garden to just kind of jazz up your yard all year long. It's really easy to focus on spring and summer and forget about fall and winter. But with a little bit of forethought, you actually can put in some bushes and shrubs and trees that will look good come wintertime. That's about it for us here at Andersen Acres. We'll see you tomorrow.